I ordered like this little peg leg contraption that like my knee sits on. So I was just like hobbling around with that all throughout the month of May in Italy with, my bags and everything. It was pretty wild.
First of all, how do you film a wedding with a broken ankle? I want to get into Italy, but also, is there any like other experiences that you've had on the platform so far, and like how long do you feel like you've been a part of it?
Yeah, I joined Second Society, I think last year in October. I kind of heard some of the interviews that you've done with both John and Nick on the How to Films podcast, and then obviously going through Mastermind with How to Film Weddings last year. Like, I know the value and importance of the platform, and there wasn't really anything like Second Society before. Even, I didn't really know where to look except for like reaching out to people via like text or phone call. That was like kind of like my go-to source, or like Facebook. I think, Second Society is like one of the best like platforms for me. If like my second shooter that I did have scheduled, if they cancel or something, I can, freely post a job and know there's like really high end and top first and second shooters for video and photos. But I
Come
personally,
on, man.
like, it's incredible.
You're selling the ad right there. No script.
I really like, I'm telling you, like, it's
cool, man.
The best. It's so awesome. It's so awesome. So
sweet, man. I appreciate that. So then, fill me in how this whole Italian thing came into play.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was just like kind of perusing all the jobs on Second Society. I think it was like February of this year. And there was a job posting for Italy. And I was like, oh my gosh, that would be incredible. Because I've been, I've done like different weddings, all throughout California, but I've only done a few like travel weddings or destination weddings. I went to like Chicago in 2017 with two of my former business partners and whatnot. And then a couple of things in Arizona, but never like a destination. So I was just like, let me just kind of apply. Travel wasn't included. And so I knew that was going to be kind of a business sacrifice that, obviously was going to have to make. I would have loved for the travel to be included, but at the same time, I kind of made got a little bit of my own content out there. So I made it kind of more of a work trip. And then I also did like some fun travel things as well. But yeah, I just literally applied, reached out to Ty from Peach and Orange is their company name. They used to be based in Florida, but now I think they're in Illinois. They're not in Florida. I know that. I just can't remember where they're at. But yeah, I just reached out, and because he kind of had like very specific things that he wanted for the job of like making sure the person that he would hire would bring like 2 light stands, 2 tripods, a drone as like a backup. And then like ask like what cameras I use and those type of things. So we kind of went through that initial like phase of like figuring out, okay, is this a good fit? And then probably a couple weeks went by of like, he kind of went through my work and like some other people's work, and ended up having me be a part of the wedding, which was like really awesome. Like, it was crazy. Like, I still don't know how to process all of it. Meanwhile, too, in the beginning of May, I broke my ankle playing softball at my church league, which was terrible. But I was like, I'd already booked my flights, I had all these things planned out, my Airbnbs and different things. And I was like, I still want to go. And I had other weddings in the month of May. And so I was just like, okay, I ordered like this little peg leg contraption that like my knee sits on, because I had like a full on leg cast. So I was just like hobbling around with that all throughout the month of May in Italy with, my bags and everything. It was pretty wild just to have to film with that and whatnot. So, but overall, the wedding, it was crazy. Yeah.
I have so many questions right now.
Yeah.
Where do I start? First of all, how do you film a wedding with a broken ankle?
It's
Like, don't you have to
I
push
don't
it
even.
around?
So it's the contraption. Like it's not like the scooter. It's like the
Okay.
peg leg to where you just have like your knee rests on this little thing, and then
Mm-hmm.
I had to like figure out the sizing and everything. But it basically is makes your leg usable again. And I could send you photos so you can see it. But it's
Sick.
yeah, a lot of times I do handheld with all my weddings, so that made it's a little bit easier. If I was like doing a whole bunch of gimbal shots and everything, that would be a
Yeah.
little bit more difficult. But yeah, I was still able to use like my camera strap to just be able to hold the camera. So all I had to do was like hold it and just be able to stand like straight up and whatnot. The venue that we were at too was like all sloped, so that obviously made it difficult. And
Mm.
once I got there too, a lot of the things I was doing was just moving tripods, light stands, those type of things. More of like a third
Second
shooter
shooter.
role.
Okay.
Yeah, second shooter, third shooter, and just getting like behind the scenes footage,
Cool.
which was awesome. I didn't really have to like do a normal second shooter role because both Ty and his wife Caroline were both out there filming.
Okay.
So I mainly provided like the gear and like the tripods, light stands, and my drone as like a backup, and then
Okay.
was getting behind the scenes. And during the ceremony, I would like check the tripod cameras and whatnot, but it was pretty low key to compared to like other weddings and whatnot.
So why, I guess was his original reasoning for hiring somebody was to have that like BTS and just an extra hand on, and then obviously the extra gear just in case, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think they initially were had like a bigger and longer trip planned. So with bringing their kid and
Okay.
just family and stuff, they just weren't going to have enough room to have all the gear and everything.
Yep.
And I did do some filming, with they had brought out their red and everything. So
Mm.
that was awesome just to film on that as well. So yeah, it was a very much like awesome, just really awesome experience. The couple's amazing. They're
Dang.
from the States, and yeah, Ty and Caroline were just amazing to work with, and just really humbled to be able to say I went to Italy and did all that. Yeah, it was crazy.
Heck yeah. So like with them,
Yeah.
was this kind of like a one-off job, or did they do a lot of like destination work? Like
Yeah, they
often?
do a lot of destination work. One of their big things that they do is same day edits. So like, I didn't even know they were doing one, and then like right before the ceremony, the officiant announces like, "Hey, the bride and groom have requested like no photos with your phone or video, like put them away." And then they mentioned like there's gonna be like a same day edit, and then I was like, "Dude, what? You guys are doing a same day edit?" It's just like so nonchalant about it.
Wow.
Then the like obviously there's that pressure, but that was cool to just to like document that, for Ty and Caroline of just getting the bride and groom's reaction, both the parents on both sides, just to get just seeing the reactions, is like the best thing. Because it's like,
Yeah.
hey, we just like filmed all these things, and now it's like boom, it's like in a video just right then and there. Because like sometimes you just don't see that unless it's like a
Yep.
next day teaser or those type of things. So it's cool to like see Ty and Caroline like do an awesome job providing that for their couple and be able to capture that on camera for them. So
That's cool. Did they edit that like during dinner?
yeah, so there was like probably like an hour and a half of like downtime, even during cocktail hour. So
Okay.
there was built in kind of time for that.
Yeah.
They started at like almost noon, and then I didn't get there till like 4:30. But they started
Cool.
filming at noon. They had like a first look and all the getting ready footage, and then the ceremony was at like 5:30. So they were kind of working on it all throughout the day, and then we're able to wrap it up before dinner or like as dinner was happening. So, which is
That's
crazy.
cool. anything that you like picked up on, like working with them, like specifically that you're like, oh man, I love the way that they do this. I'm going to bring this back into my own like business, I guess, or.
Gosh, yeah, I think, yeah, that's a good question. Because they're both a husband and wife team. I think, I asked them like how, dynamically do they work together? Because obviously, like the flow felt really good. I know that for them sometimes there can be that tension, but just being a good team player, open communication is always a thing to pull away from. And working well with the vendors, the couple, like that's my biggest thing is like at the end of the day, the relationships that we have with our couples, that matters more than anything else. Like when you're first starting out, you're still trying to figure out the camera settings, lighting, all that kind of stuff. But like once you get that all figured out and nailed, like you can focus more on the relationships with the couple, and then also all the vendors, like the photographer, the planner, the florist. Like those are the things that at the end of the day really, really matter.
Totally.
So
with that style of wedding, like what did you kind of see on the day of? Was it more like editorial, like a Vogue type of wedding, or was it more like adventurous?
Yeah, I would say more kind of Vogue. There was aspects that were adventurous, like being out on the lake and everything. They got some really awesome shots of like a couple out on the boat and everything.
Was it Lake Como?
Yeah. Yeah, Lake Como. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. Which it was crazy because it was like supposed to rain that day, but then, God was like, hey, I'm going to make it not rain. And
let's go.
It was so awesome because like the couple was obviously worried about it. I was worried for them. It's like, okay, let's make sure like they had like a backup plan just in case it does rain, all those type of things. But it ended up just being just perfect weather for the actual wedding day and everything, which was awesome. So
sick.
Yeah.
And what else did you do outside of the wedding day there? And like,
yeah. So I was in Rome for a couple days.
This is all by yourself, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was,
Dang.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was already going to be crazy without the broken ankle, but then adding the broken ankle, it takes everything up a notch,
Yep.
Like physically too. I lost like 15 pounds in the last month, just moving a lot and sweating and all that. So that's one way to lose some weight.
That's it, dude. Everybody talks about going to the gym. I just say break the ankle.
Yeah. It's a new strategy if you didn't know. Yeah, but I've spent a couple days in Rome, Florence, Venice, and then Lake Como for 2 days. I got like some drone footage just on the lake, which was awesome. Just because I did like a little boat ride and everything, so I was able to fly the drone up and stuff. I wanted to try and do like a styled shoot, but that just ended up not working out with my schedule and everything. But overall it was incredible.
So, I mean, it's just so wild, man. Like here, this guy probably posted the job post thinking that he might be able to get somebody in Europe to come in and third shoot. But then here comes a guy all the way from California that says, you know what, I've never been. I always wanted to go to Italy. Obviously, you're not coming out on top on this wedding because you're paying for all your expenses and you're making a trip out of it. Explain to me like why you did this, and then for somebody who's like, oh man, I really want to go visit other countries and go travel and stuff like that, but this is gonna like hurt my pocket. What did you walk away with after this shoot, coming home, and do you feel like it was worth it?
Yeah, I think going into it, one of the things that I really wanted to know was just making sure that I was a right fit for the job before I even applied. Like, okay, even though I'm not going to be profitable, but like, I think one of the things I've learned over the years is just there's certain times to take like those almost creative business risks for me. And so that was one of those decisions of like, okay, even though I'm not getting any profit that is tangible. I know it's going to be great experience for myself, but then also being able to share that with other people, talk to future clients about it, but then also to be able to get my own content that I can post on my Instagram and on my website to say like, hey, I've been to this location in Italy in Lake Como. I think that was kind of in the back of my mind. And then it was just all throughout the process from like reaching out to Ty when we had our initial phone call. Again, it was just confirmation from him and also from the Lord, just saying like, both of them, Ty and Caroline, are believers. And then the couple was believers. And so it's like God was like really just saying like, okay, like you made the right decision, and I'm going to keep reminding you all throughout this. And like before, it was probably like a month before the actual wedding, like Ty had already sent me like all the final payment. It's like, dude, I haven't even like done the work, like, so just like constantly, like there was like reminders all throughout the process of like, okay, this is a good decision for this job. So that was really, really cool.
So that's super cool.
Yeah.
And you feel like you came home with not only an experience of Italy, but probably a lot of good stuff for your portfolio too.
Yeah.
Which is really sick, man.
Awesome.
I can't wait to hear the testimony of, the next couple that says, oh man, I saw your work on your website in Italy and like, we want to book you for that wedding. You know what I mean? Or something along the lines of that.
Yeah.
To where, man, you took this huge risk. Went all the way out there with a broken ankle. And then here it's, returning back to you. So look forward to hearing that story.